Ask the captain of any ship about to leave a harbor what their next point of destination is, and they can always tell you 100% of the time. No ship leaves the harbor without a point of destination set. It's safer in the harbor. The ship can stay there safe out of the storm, but that's not the purpose of the ship. That's not what they were made for. We're no different. We need to always have a point of destination, a purpose to be fulfilled and to be happy. So do you know what your purpose is? Hi, Brian McWhorter here, author of books like The X Factor Business, The Lean Business Model, and The Dragon Slayer's Manual, How to Solve Life's Problems from the Perspective of a Dragon Slayer. And I'm not sure if there's any subject or anything that's more important than our sense of purpose in terms of our own health and well-being. It's that purpose that gets us out of bed and drives us forward. It's what creates maturity. So let's take a brief look at how important this sense of purpose is. I can remember in my early days, as a young man in my early 20s, I read a book that stated that on average about 90% of our thought life revolves around ourselves. I remember reading that and thinking, well, that's awesome, that's incredibly liberating. I learned not to worry about what other people thought of me because their thought life was mainly on themselves. If they thought about me, it was fleeting. So again, it was incredibly liberating, nice to know. So let's look at that 90%. Let's look at our thought life real quick. So we've got a person here, and we'll say that again, 90% of our thought is on ourselves. In 2005, the National Science Foundation published an article stating that the average person had somewhere between 12,000 and 65,000 thoughts per day. Now, of those, they said about 95% of those thoughts are routine, day to day. They don't change that much. So again, 90% on ourselves, and we'll say 95% are the same day to day, which makes sense. Most of us live routine lives. We do a lot just day to day the same. So again, we're creatures of habit. You know, we go to work in the same places. We interact with the same people. We have, hobbies. Our days are very routine. So it makes sense that our thought life would be routine as well. Now, one of the next statements they mentioned in the article is kind of scary, and that said that about 80% of our thoughts tended to be negative. They were connected to negative emotions, such as frustration and even boredom and helplessness and just the lack of something good happening. So really, when you think of it like that, if we're staying inside our head, this can be like almost a mantra from hell. We're thinking of ourselves, only ourselves, and there's not much happening that really is encouraging or good. How do we break that cycle? How do we think outside of ourselves? So let's do that. If we could break away, the way that happens is by having a purpose, something bigger than ourselves. Something that takes our mind off of ourselves. This is what causes maturity. Again, if you want to see the power of a sense of purpose, look at any teenager or a young person that, really has no real drive or ambition until, say, they get hooked into a sport. It gives them a sense of purpose to, want to excel at football, soccer, baseball, whatever. Or they decide what their vocation is, what they want to do in life. So they start cracking the books because they want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, whatever that is. Or they decide they fall in love, so they want to be able to provide for a mate, grow a family. That sense of purpose, that's something that finally takes us out of our head, that is what really causes maturity. You measure maturity by our ability to put our thoughts on someone other than ourselves. I would go so far as to say that our sense of purpose is what causes maturity. It's what pulls us out of ourselves towards something greater than ourselves. So what's your purpose? Again, it's that purpose that gives our life meaning. And how we interact with others, doing things for others, again, is a lot of our reward and joy in life. You talk to any soldier on the battlefield or a fireman that is willing to risk their life to go into a burning building, ask them why they do what they do, and it's that strong sense of purpose. Serving others and protecting fellow soldiers and protecting fellow firefighters. So if I were to ask you right now, what is your purpose? Do you have a clear answer? Our purpose is most likely going to change many times throughout our life, but we always need one. We always need something to pull us out of our head, something to get us moving forward that gives our lives meaning. We are all drug addicts to a degree. The drugs that we're hooked on are drugs like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. Oxytocin and serotonin are connecting hormones. They're released when we are doing something good for others, and they definitely impact our sense of well-being. We get dopamine released when we cross something off our checkoff list, when we do something that puts us closer to our goal or our sense of purpose. Again, we follow others, we follow our leaders, not to empower the leader, but to empower ourselves, because we're becoming part of something bigger than ourselves. People followed Martin Luther King, not because they believed in him, but because they believed in the freedom movement, that everyone is created equal, and they wanted human rights for all, freedoms for all. So we believed in that sense of purpose. In order to be happy, fully happy, we must be what we were created to be. We must be or achieve what we know we can be or achieve. Again, happiness doesn't come from success, it comes from that sense of purpose. We may not fully succeed at our goals, but if we're working and striving towards them, that's what gives our life meaning. It's better to spend time giving our life meaning than looking for the meaning of life. Again, it's having that purpose. We don't pursue it because we're confident we're going to succeed. We pursue it because we know it's the right thing to do. It's what fulfills us. If you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs and self-actualization, he basically says that to be truly happy, we must become what we know we can be. Once all our needs are met in terms of food, water, shelter, if we know that we can be a farmer, an architect, an artist, we've got to pursue that for a sense of well-being. It's a need that's kind of born within us. So again, what's your sense of purpose? What is your purpose? Again, that is probably the most important question that we could ask each other. What I would suggest is having your purpose written down. I've done this for years. I have the main goal, the main thing that I'm working for, written down on a card or a piece of paper or even on my computer screen, and I look at it first thing in the morning before I go to bed. And again, that purpose will probably change many times throughout our lives, but we need to always have one. Again, it's like that ship that left port. We need that point of destination. We need that thing we're heading towards. When you tread water versus swimming, you're still expanding energy, but swimming is moving us towards something. And if we're only treading water, at some point we're going to realize we're in over our head and we're going to drown. We need to be moving forward. And again, that purpose may change many times, but we still always need to have one. So what is your purpose? Do you have it written down? Are you clear on it? Do you challenge yourselves? Our thought life, moment to moment, tends to be ruled by feelings, impulses, and emotions. If we want control over those feelings, impulses, and emotions, we need to be thinking of a purpose, something far out there, not far out there, but outside our own mind. Then reasoning and logic kick in. If I have a purpose for my body that I want to lose fat, gain muscle, continue to be healthy, then it gives me control over those impulses, feelings, and emotions. Maybe I want to eat that cookie or have that ice cream. Again, we need to give ourselves those rewards, but we need boundaries. And a sense of purpose is what gives us those boundaries. So hopefully this was helpful to you. So my challenge to you is, what is your purpose? Do you have it written down, and are you moving towards it? Thanks for watching this video. Be sure and hit like and subscribe and check out my other videos. Thanks.